switching to the neighboring state that has been carved out of United Andhra Pradesh, the state of Andhra Pradesh itself. Now, here the NDA is projected to win about 21 to 23 seats by Access My India team, YSRCP 2 to 4 seats. And what do we put this down to, Sudhir? Because is it just the arrest of TDP chief that made a difference? And also, if you could tell us who is riding on whose wave here? If these numbers were to hold true, is Modi riding on Naidu wave here, or is it the other way around? How do you see these
Well,
numbers?
very interestingly, Gautam, the assembly elections projections are not as much of a wave kind
Hmm.
of situation as the Lok Sabha is, which is also very surprising because Andhra in the past has shown an inclination to vote in the same manner for both the Lok Sabha and the assembly. So that, to my mind, is a little surprising. If you look at the Lok Sabha numbers, it's a definite sweep. See, basically the arithmetic has worked in the favor of the alliance. The TDP plus Janasena plus BJP arithmetic is very strong. The math is very strong, and it's good enough to take on a YSRCP, which also is facing 5 years of anti-incumbency.
Yeah, yeah.
On the ground, I do think has been a very significant social coalition which has been formed. The upper
Hmm.
caste, the urban classes, then the Kamma community, the Kapu community, all of them coming together in order to take on. And also, though Jagan Mohan Reddy was trying to ensure that the OBCs are on his side, that hasn't
Yeah.
happened. It is going by the figures put out by Access My India. That hasn't happened to a significant extent. A large number of the OBC vote has also gone to the alliance kitty. But the most
Okay.
significant part is the women vote and the male vote. I mean, the women vote is what the YSRCP was banking on. Even that has
Okay.
shown a dip, a 1% dip compared to 2019. The male voter percentage has dipped by as much as 10% compared to 2019. So that's what has hurt. And why would the male voter not vote for the YSRCP? One, jobs. There have been no
Hmm.
jobs. There has been lack of infrastructure development. I mean, there has been no major industry coming in except after the 2023 investor summit. Some kind of investment has started coming in, and that also is majorly in the north coastal part of Andhra Pradesh. So there hasn't been that kind of focus on infrastructure development which could generate jobs, which could generate employment, and that has angered the male voter. At least that's what the figures would also indicate. Then the other
But
thing is
Jagan
about
has
the
given out several goal-centric schemes there in Andhra Pradesh. Haven't they made an impact there at all? Have they people discarded that as well while voting this time?
see. Like one of my acronyms is the PWG. I mean, not the Naxal group, but the pensioners, women, and the Grameen vote. And I had said that this is what is going to help Jagan Mohan Reddy. Now there are 65 lakh pensioners who get
Yeah.
a monthly sum every month on the first of every month at their doorstep. Then there is the women vote. Then there is the rural vote, essentially. But I think over a period of time, like, and this is anecdotal evidence, like many people had said that, yeah, I mean, we are getting this much of money and we are grateful to Jagan for that. But my son, my grandson does not have a job. For the last 2 years or last 18 months, he has been roaming around without a job. What does he do? So there are those kind of concerns also which are at play. So, it's like this. Okay, I'm getting this much from the government, but Chandrababu Naidu is also going to promise me the same thing. Plus, he's also giving me the additional plus of the promise of a job, plus infrastructure development, plus industries coming in, employment,
Hmm.
better life. So Chandrababu Naidu is showing a bigger dream on a bigger canvas. So why not invest in Chandrababu Naidu for the next 5 years? Please remember that Chandrababu Naidu was also a welfare-oriented man during the first 5 years of
Correct.
the
Yeah.
TDP rule in Andhra Pradesh, 14 to 19. Yet he lost power, and they decided to invest in the Jagan Mohan Reddy brand of dole-centric governance. And now it seems that every 5 years, just like it happens in Tamil Nadu or Kerala, with some exceptions in the last few elections, they want to kind of test out TDP once again. TDP has
Hmm.
always won whenever it has been in an alliance with any party, be it in 1999 with the BJP, 2014 again with the BJP. 2004, of course, was an exception. 2009 also he lost when he was part of an alliance. But generally, TDP has never won an election when it has fought alone, the 2019 election being a case in point.
All right. And one final question here on Andhra Pradesh. How big a factor has this Land Titling Act been? Because it had become a focal point of discussion in Andhra politics, at least in the build up to the elections. And there were allegations, counterclaims that were made. So, do you feel this has had any impact on the voter there in Andhra Pradesh?
Yeah, I mean, actually, three things which I would want to talk about. Land Titling Act, yes, because it created a sense of panic. And that also, I believe, has contributed to the male voter moving away from the YSRCP significantly. That, your land would be taken away. Every public meeting, Chandrababu Naidu was showing the passbook, the Pattadar passbook with a photograph of Jagannath Reddy, tearing it away and saying that your lands, even though it's in your name, would be taken away by Jagan, just like he has put his photograph out there. Why should his photograph be there? It's your photograph which should be there on your passbook. The second most important factor, I call it the Kapu moment, if these numbers actually hold true on Tuesday, that if this really happens, it would mean that Pawan Kalyan has played a huge role. See, for the past so many years in United Andhra Pradesh, the Kapu community always felt that despite we being numerically superior, more in number than the Kamma and the Reddy community, it was always the Reddy community when a Congress was in power, or Kamma when the TDP was in power, who would be the chief minister. Why can't a Kapu be the chief minister? Chiranjeevi showed them a glimmer of hope, but he did not have enough staying power. Pawan Kalyan has displayed that he has some kind of staying power. So I call it the Kapu moment, because the game changer moment was when Pawan Kalyan visited Chandrababu Naidu in Rajamundry Central Prison in September. And despite the BJP leadership at that time not being in favor of any kind of truck with Chandrababu Naidu, Pawan Kalyan behaving like a true film hero, deciding that I'm going to bite the bullet and I'm going to have an alliance with the TDP, and then working backwards to convince the BJP leadership that we should go in for an alliance. So in that sense, the architect of this alliance has been Pawan Kalyan, like a hero in a multi-starrer film. He's also made sacrifices. He wanted to contest 60 seats at one time. He brought down the number to 24 and then to 21 to accommodate the BJP. And even in those 21 seats, many of them were people who were brought in from the TDP and given tickets in the Janasena name. So Pawan Kalyan has shown a large heart, very important in coalition politics, has been
Yeah.
very gracious in that sense, because he also realized that this, I mean, he needed to kind of get some victory against his name. Otherwise, he would have to wait for another 5 years. I can also tell you that the BJP had given him another proposal that don't go with Chandrababu Naidu, because the BJP leadership had issues with Naidu given what all he had said in 2018-19 about Modi and Shah. So they had proposed that if Naidu loses again, the Telugu Desam will be decimated, and then you can be the face of the NDA in Andhra Pradesh, taking on a Jagannath Reddy, and 2029 could be your big moment. But obviously, Pawan Kalyan decided that this was his moment when he wanted to go with it. Now, what kind of a role does he play in the new government if these numbers hold and the alliance actually comes to power? What kind of a role will he play? Whether the Kapu community which sees him as in a big role, whether that would be happy with whatever role he's assigned in the government. All those things
Mm.
are going to be very important. Thirdly, Pradeep Gupta has been talking about the arrest of Chandrababu Naidu being another major turning point. I can tell you that I'm not so sure that whether that was really the turning point. It did generate sympathy, but that sympathy was generated largely in the TDP support base, the Kamma community, and also the urban class who look at Chandrababu Naidu as having done something good for the cause of Andhra Pradesh and
Yeah.
Hyderabad. But beyond that, did it convert the people who were completely on the other side of the fence? I'm not so sure. But yes, I would say Pawan Kalyan visiting Naidu inside Rajamundry Central Prison, for me, that was the moment when the tide turned.
Turn. All right. Also, since you did bring up Pawan Kalyan and the Kapu community and the Kamma community, how big a challenge was it to unite these two communities to vote together? Because they don't see eye to eye, and if the projections are to hold true, who do you feel has played a key role in bringing these two communities together, who don't essentially are rivals in a sense of speaking?
In the initial days, I can tell you that TDP leaders were very apprehensive whether the vote transfer would happen smoothly or not. But one of the things that they did, and this is something which Robin Sharma, their strategist, told me, that they would hold meetings every second day together. I mean, Pawan Kalyan and Chandrababu Naidu, and they would make sure that in a Janasena stronghold where Janasena person was on the ticket, was the candidate, it would be Pawan Kalyan who would make the last speech. and vice versa. So in order to say that, we are both are together, we both are committed to the cause of fighting these elections together, basically sending a signal to the cadre that you need to ensure smooth vote transfer irrespective of who is the candidate from that particular constituency. So I think the signal from the leadership was very clear that we are in it together. See, the BJP is not much of a player, less than a 1% vote share in the 2019 elections. So it wasn't
Yes.
much of a significant player. But the fact that you have a party which is likely to come to power in Delhi, and that would
Mm.
benefit the state because of flow of funds, at least on paper, that kind of messaging helped the TDP, Janasena, BJP alliance that it is going to be two elections with the intention of
Mm.
forming the government in both Delhi as well as in Amravati.